Hey YouTube, it's Wes. In today's video, we're going to answer the age-old question, am I actually mining when it comes to pi? It's a great question. I'm going to give you my very opinionated thoughts on what the truth is behind that question. Am I mining? And what does it actually mean for you and me when we finally get to this whole phase 3 thing? Curious? Want to know more? You don't want to miss this. Coming right up. All right, guys, so a bunch of arguments and discussion and confusion around this question. What the heck is going on with pi at a functional level? Am I really mining? We're going to answer that question today. But hey, first things first, Wes Spencer here. I love covering pi and a whole bunch of other innovative cryptos that just catch my eye. So I'm super glad you're with me. I am sorry I've been absent with videos this week. I have been out again on business travel, which is a really cool thing, but sometimes ties me down on this channel. See, here's the deal. I'm not an average YouTuber. I don't do this full time. I do it because I like to, and it's super, super fun. And that just means you're not going to see much moon pumping. Well, let's be honest. You're not going to see any moon pumping on this channel, not as long as I'm in control here. We don't do all that kind of stuff. No price speculation unless there's good evidence for it. In this channel, we just stick to the tech. All right, so one thing you could do for me as we jump in, would you hit the like button and the subscribe button, and please hit that bell icon. All of those things go a really long way in this channel, and it would mean a lot to yours truly, especially because this week, I think, we're going to hit 50,000 subs. Like, that's kind of crazy. Thank you guys so much. We've got to do a live stream on that. I am really planning to do that next week and just to connect with all of you guys. Okay, so this big question, am I actually mining in pi? Let's take a step back and first of all talk about the classic word mining. See, all cryptocurrency, at least in the age of Bitcoin, and I realize there's been some that were like before the world of Satoshi, but not really blockchain based like digital currencies, right? And the whole idea behind Bitcoin itself was, how do I incentivize in a decentralized manner getting hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of people all together to work together in a system for everyone's mutual benefit. One of the keys behind that in Bitcoin itself was this idea of proof of work. See, as transactions are written to a blockchain, we need to have a way to confirm them. We need to have a way that there's consensus for everybody in the ecosystem to say, yes, those are valid, those are legitimate. Let's permanently add them to the blockchain system of record so that we can move on to go after new blocks. And there's this incentivization thing here where we're rushing to do this thing called mining. We're rushing to do this thing called solving a block, which proves that we have the answer that confirms all of the new transactions waiting to be written on the blockchain. And the way that happens is this word called mining, right? And I know there's tons of confusion. Like, people think, like, I kid you not, like, are these like bearded nerds like going into the deep dank like underspace of the internet, the dank web, the dark web, and they're like mining like Minecraft digitally? Like, they have no idea. We just use the word mining generically speaking in the world of proof of work to say, I am trying to solve blocks. I'm literally trying mathematically hundreds, billions, trillions of attempts to find the magic answer, the one correct answer that proves I've solved the block. Now, I'm simplifying a lot of this. There's so much more to proof of work, but I'm just sticking at the high level. So when we use the word mining in the world of crypto, we're usually referring to proof of work. We're usually referring to a mathematical solution, a challenge and a solution that prove we've solved the block, that proved to everybody in the ecosystem that we had the answer so that we can confirm and move on in life. Now, what happened over time? We realized that proof of work has some real challenges. One of those challenges is it's not fair to people like you and me because of this rush of infrastructure. All of this, we went from CPU mining to GPU-based mining because they're faster and better at hash algorithms, to now ASICs. And now you have these huge mining pools and these huge companies and these huge countries that are focusing on mining, leaving the little guys like you and me out. We know that. And so we saw a move to what's called proof of stake. And proof of stake is totally different. There's no mining involved. There's no like earning your crypto. It's all about an initial release of a bunch of tokens that then users can, when they have access to them, they can stake them. They can put them up in the network to say, I am going to confirm based upon the stake, the level of importance I've put into the ecosystem. And the reason that stake is important is because if the protocol finds out that I'm doing something nefarious, I can lose my stake. See, we call this having skin in the game. Proof of stake is all about having skin in the game, of saying, if I am going to take some of my hard-earned tokens and put them in the blockchain to help confirm new transactions, I'm going to follow the rules. Because if I don't follow the rules, I'll get slashed. I'll have everyone take away some or all of my funds, and I don't want that to happen. So therefore, I'm motivated to follow the rules. You get how that works? That's called proof of stake. And there's no mining involved in that whatsoever. So that was the big evolution. There's a lot of cryptos that are either moving towards proof of stake like Ethereum or are already there like Cardano. And all of the future that we're going to see, proof of stake is a big, big deal. So there's no mining in proof of stake. The tokens are pre-created. They could also be continuously created or minted, but it's those who stake that earn the rewards to get new ones in most cases. Again, I'm simplifying a lot of this just to stay high level to make sure you guys get it. So the question comes up with Pi. Well, which am I doing? Because Pi says I'm mining, and I'll show you evidence that they say that here in just a second. Am I actually mining or am I not? Well, the truth is, believe it or not, Pi is based on Stellar. See, Stellar is an open source protocol. It's an open source blockchain that was created by Jed McCaleb and some others, and he's got a very storied history. In fact, I covered Jed's history. If you go and watch a video, here it is right here, The Rise and Fall of Mt. Gox. I follow Jed McCaleb because he's somebody that I find to be very interesting. And he went from a bunch of stuff, including the creation of Mt. Gox. Did you know that? Way before it was what you know as Mt. Gox, and some other things before that into Ripple, and then from Ripple to Stellar. And Stellar is unique because it's this idea of a proof of consensus. It uses something called Byzantine Federated Trust, and it uses these trust circles. And actually, wouldn't you know it, Pi uses the same thing. It's a fork of Stellar. And we know that. Pi has disclosed that. So inside Stellar, you're not mining anything. There's a whole, the way Stellar works is there's a bunch of crypto that's dropped into the tokens themselves are dropped into a faucet, and then the faucet is responsible for distributing from there to all the users. And that's how Pi works. So we're not actually mining in Pi at all. We're getting it from a faucet, and I'll show that to you. And then I'm going to close the video with where the confusion comes from and what I really actually think of, are we mining in Pi or are we not? So first thing I want to do is I want to show you some stuff. Here is the Pi dashboard, and this has changed over time. If you've never seen this before, I've covered it in several of my videos before. To those who don't know, Pi is real. Like, there's a real blockchain. It's in testnet. So all the Pi you see here and that I'm about to show you is literally just, they call it test Pi. It's going to go away. This is not your real Pi. This is just literally for testing in the blockchain because we're in phase 2. Okay. And I'm going to show this to you. And by the way, do you notice they used to show the nodes and the locations of the nodes and like the growth rate of new accounts and all of that. And I don't see that anymore. I do see up here at the top, like the total supply active nodes. Looks like there's 7 million accounts now, which is awesome. It looks like over half of the Pi users, because they say there's about 18 million users, have now created accounts. So that's kind of cool. And you consider a lot of the 18 million are probably not even mining anymore. That number is good. That's almost close to a 50% penetration rate of actual accounts created to number of users of Pi. We're actually really good. It's really good data. But I'm curious why they got rid of all the rest of the data that's in there. That's really interesting. I wish they kept it in. But anyway, I digress. We're scrolling down here, and this is the easy way to get to it. If you look at the top 10 richest accounts, some people will look at this and say, whoa, there's one user with like 99 billion Pi? Like, what the heck, man? That's a lot. Well, keep in mind, first, what did I just say? This is all test Pi. It means nothing. But the second is the reason they own 99% of the market share is because this is the actual faucet. This is where all of the Pi is dripping into, or really funneled into, I should say, and then dripped to all of the users. Let me show this to you. So I'm going to hit view details right here. And this brings it up. You see the number of Pi, but then we can click over here into transactions. And these are all of the actual transactions that the faucet is generating and creating and sending when you create a new account. This is called the faucet account. So when you first create your account, and even in phase 3, when you first generate your account for the first time, the real time, the wallet, or really I should say the faucet account, this account right here, will give you the amount of Pi that is sitting in your app. You know what I'm talking about, where you go in every single day and you tap to confirm and you're given a certain amount of Pi every day. So here's the thing. Are we really mining it or are we not? Well, there's confusion that comes from this. As I said, first of all, the Pi white paper doesn't really help. I mean, you see this right here after they talk about the problems of, how they feel like, and I think they're right about this, by the way, that Bitcoin and other cryptos have really left the rest of the world behind because they didn't get in on it and people want in on something they can actually create from scratch. Well, look at this right here. They actually say this in the first paragraph, they enabling mining on mobile phones. In fact, watch this. I can even type the word mine here, and it's mentioned multiple times. Here we go. This people that want to actually mine their crypto. And so there's some confusion here when people that are not from the world of Pi take a look at this and they're like, well, wait, you're not mining. Like all you're doing is hitting a button in the app and you're like reserving crypto for yourself. That's correct. You're exactly right. Or people that take a look at this and they're like, well, if it's mining, then isn't it using a ton of resources on my phone? Isn't it going to drain my phone battery? And isn't it going to make my phone go slow? And then they start using it and they realize it doesn't. And so they're like, well, this is fake. It's not even really mining. Well, they're right too, those people are, because from the actual functional definition of proof of work, you're not mining at all. And this is what causes all the confusion, my friends. See, if I were writing the white paper, I would describe it not as mining, but as reserving or earning is maybe a good way to look at it as well. See, what you're doing in the app right now is we're going to determine the total amount of Pi that will be created once we get to phase 3. So phase 1 and phase 2 are really about, or while the network is building and while the core team is maturing and creating the ecosystem to be ready for full release at phase 3, there is this marketing incentive that's going on. There's this ability for you to start carving out and earning your own future Pi once the day comes of full release. And I've covered this in other videos, but this is why Pi has grown so fast. It's got this viral mechanism, almost this MLM-like mechanism, which it's not an MLM, but I see how people can kind of say that of like, I'm reserving my own Pi, and if I invite other people in, then my mining rate goes up. So I have an incentive to go invite everybody that's out there. And by the way, there's tons of things that do that, right? Like you think about Celsius. If I invite other people in with a referral code, I make extra Bitcoin from them. Or Coinbase does the same thing. And tons of not even like crypto stuff, but even stocks. Like if I invite you through my Robinhood account, you get a free stock. I get a free stock of their random choosing. So this idea of referrals is not new to Pi. But it's definitely noticed in Pi because we're in this phase right now where we're reserving. And I think a lot of people that feel like Pi is a scam is they look at the phone, they look at the word Pi, they see it's not actually like proof of work mining, and they're like, that's definitely a scam. Reality is this: what we're truly doing is we're reserving our share. And our share is all different based upon how much value we've created for Pi in phase 1 and 2. And what's that value, you say? Well, how many people I've incentivized to join. Because Pi, the core team, they want millions of users, not hundreds of users by the time the full release comes, because the more users there are, the more value typically a cryptocurrency is worth. And so that's what they're really focusing on. And so I think if we had just said, hey, look, you're earning or reserving Pi every day you hit the button and you reserve for yourself a little bit more. And so when we go into phase 3, what's going to happen is that faucet account, the main faucet that I showed you, it won't be 100 billion, which is just the default. It'll be whatever the total number of total reserve Pi is, the number that the core team has reserved for themselves, and then it will drip to you your reserved Pi. So maybe you just started yesterday and you just started not mining, but reserving or earning for yourself. And by the time Pi goes into mainnet, maybe you have 500. Maybe there's a Pi OG that's been from the very early and they've invited thousands and thousands of people in and they have hundreds of thousands of Pi. Well, again, they were earlier in, they created more value. And so they're going to have more that were created and reserved for them. Now, as I've done multiple times in this video, I'm simplifying. There's a bunch of nuances here, right? Like, for example, you know that the Pi teams have been clear. Those that have been fraudulently mining are not going to get those rewards. And supposedly, so will the people that have invited people, whatever fraudulent, I shouldn't say fraudulent, but whatever rewards they've gotten that they shouldn't have earned because it's been from people that have done the same thing. They've fraudulently been trying to earn extras. They're not going to get that share as well. And hear me, I'm not saying to you, if you invited somebody in and they're fraudulently reserving or earning Pi by, using multiple accounts, that you earn nothing. I'm not saying that. I don't think there's any evidence that the Pi core team is going to totally cancel you from the system. I don't think it works that way, but it may be portions that might be that way. So I'm simplifying and throwing a lot of that stuff that's out. But I did want to answer that question is, are you mining? And here's my true answer to this. If you're talking about it specifically from the vernacular of mining from the proof of work world, no, you are not mining with Pi. And that's the hard and fast answer. If you just use the word mining generically to say earning or saving or getting access to Pi over time, then sure, you're quote unquote mining. But personally, I don't like the word mining because I think it causes confusion. I think it causes people to immediately knee jerk and be like, this isn't real. This is a scam and a fraud. So that's my view. Are you mining Pi? No. But with the caveat that we're talking about the classic definition of proof of work mining. So I hope that helps. I hope that gives you some clarity. I just really wanted to teach you guys because I see this confusion. I see it in Reddit. I see it online. And hopefully that will give you the clarity that you need to share with others as well. And by the way, speaking of that, if this video is helpful for you, share this with others. Would love for you to do that. I would love for you to hit the subscribe button because I'm covering Pi. I'm covering a bunch of other super cool, new, innovative, groundbreaking cryptos right here on this channel. I cover other concepts too, like, cybersecurity stuff and startup and entrepreneurial journey stuff and making your own money and financial freedom in life, all those things too. So I'd love for you to stay in touch with me as we go down this journey together. All right, my friends, thank you so much.